Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you for a moment. We've stepped into a brand new year, and with it comes a brand new opportunity, not just to dream, but to decide. This year is not about hype, not about resolutions you'll forget by February, and not about waiting on a miracle to knock on your door. This year is about discipline. Because hear me clearly, success is no longer optional. A lot of people love the idea of success. They love the applause, the money, the freedom, the respect. But very few people fall in love with what it actually costs. Discipline is the price. Discipline is waking up when you don't feel like it. Discipline is showing up when nobody is clapping. Discipline is doing the boring uncomfortable, repetitive work when quitting feels easier. And let me tell you something, every successful person you admire paid that price in full. See, motivation is a feeling, and feelings change. Some days you're fired up, some days you're tired, some days you're doubting yourself. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline says, we're doing it anyway. Discipline is what carries you when motivation runs out. If you've been waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel confident, waiting to feel inspired, this is your wake-up call. You don't need more motivation. You need more discipline. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now, and that right there is where most people lose the battle. Everybody wants the reward, but not everybody wants the victim. Everybody wants the victory, but very few people are willing to deal with the sacrifice. See, what you want now is usually easy, comfortable, familiar. It's sleeping in instead of getting up early. It's scrolling instead of studying. It's quitting when things get hard instead of pushing through. What you want most, though, lives on the other side of discomfort. It lives in the decisions nobody sees, the work nobody applauds, and the effort that doesn't pay off immediately. Discipline means you stop letting your feelings run your life. Feelings will lie to you. Your feelings will tell you you're tired when you're really just uncomfortable. Your feelings will tell you it's not the right time when the truth is you're just scared. Discipline steps in and says, I hear you, but we're doing this anyway. That's how progress is made. That's how lives change, not in big dramatic moments, but in quiet decisions where you choose growth over comfort. Every successful person you admire had to make that choice repeatedly. They didn't wake up every day excited. They didn't feel motivated all the time. They just made a decision that what they wanted most mattered more than what they wanted right now. Right now, pleasure is cheap. It costs you your future. Right now, comfort feels good, but it keeps you stuck. Discipline delays pleasure so you can enjoy a bigger reward later. And let me tell you something, delayed gratification is a skill you can develop, but only if you practice it daily. Most people don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because they keep choosing short-term relief over long-term results. They choose to avoid the pain of discipline and end up living with the pain of regret. Discipline hurts, yes, but regret hurts worse. Regret is waking up years later wondering what could have been if you had just stayed consistent. Regret is knowing you had the potential but never gave it the effort. Discipline saves you from that conversation with yourself. When you choose what you want most, you start to see things differently. You stop asking, what feels good, and start asking, what moves me forward? You begin to protect your time. You respect your goals. You understand that every day you're building the life you want or reinforcing the life you don't. There is no neutral. Discipline is how you take control of that direction. This choice shows up in the smallest moments. It's choosing to learn when you'd rather be entertained. It's choosing to save when you'd rather spend. It's choosing to stay focused when distractions are everywhere. These moments don't look powerful, but stacked together, they create powerful results. Small disciplined actions done consistently will outperform big intentions done occasionally every single time. Discipline also means accepting responsibility. No more blaming your past your situation, or other people. The moment you accept that your future is shaped by your daily choices, you gain your power back. Discipline is empowering because it puts the control back in your hands. You may not control everything that happens to you, but you absolutely control how you respond and what you do next. Let me say this clearly, nobody is coming to save you. And that's not bad news, that's great news, because it means you don't have to wait on permission, luck, or perfect conditions. You can start right where you are. Discipline turns ordinary people into extraordinary ones. Not overnight, not magically, but surely, when you consistently choose what you want most, your confidence grows. You begin to trust yourself. You stop breaking promises to yourself, and that changes how you see who you are. Discipline builds self-respect. And when you respect yourself, you raise your standards. You stop settling for less than you're capable of, and you stop negotiating with mediocrity. This is the real work. Not talking about it, not posting about it, not wishing for it. Doing it day after day, choice after choice. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. And every time you choose what you want most over what you want now, you step closer to the life you've been praying for. Motivation fades. Discipline shows up every day, and understanding that difference can change your entire life. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes. Some days you feel unstoppable. Some days you don't even feel like getting out of bed. If you build your life on motivation, your progress will always be inconsistent. You'll work when you feel good and quit when you don't. Discipline doesn't work like that. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. Discipline has a schedule. Discipline has standards. Discipline shows up whether you're tired, bored, afraid, or unsure. A lot of people wait to feel inspired before they start. They say, when I'm motivated, I'll work harder. When I feel confident, I'll begin. When the time is right, I'll stay consistent. But the truth is, the time never feels right. Waiting on motivation is one of the biggest lies people tell themselves. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire. Sparks burn out fast, but fire keeps going as long as it's fed. Every successful person learns this lesson sooner or later. They stop relying on how they feel and start relying on what they decided. They decide what time they wake up. They decide what work must get done. They decide what habits are non-negotiable. That decision becomes a system, and that system carries them on days when motivation is nowhere to be found. Discipline is what keeps you moving forward on your worst days, not just your best ones. Life will test you. There will be days when you're exhausted, discouraged, or questioning if it's even worth it. Motivation will disappear right about then. Discipline is what says, and we're still going. Discipline understands that progress doesn't require perfection. It requires consistency. Even a slow day counts if you show up. Even imperfect effort moves you closer than doing nothing at all. Most people don't quit because the goal is impossible. They quit because they don't feel like continuing. Discipline trains you to push past that feeling. It teaches you that feelings are temporary, but results are permanent. You don't need to feel confident to take action. Confidence comes after action. You don't need to feel ready to be consistent. Consistency makes you ready. Discipline is built in small moments. It's choosing to start when procrastination feels easier. It's sticking to the plan when distractions are loud. It's doing the work quietly while nobody is watching. These moments don't feel exciting, but they are powerful. They shape your character. They turn effort into identity. You stop saying, I'm trying, and start saying, this is who I am. When discipline becomes part of your life, excuses lose their power. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop making promises you don't keep. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. Discipline brings structure to chaos. It gives your day direction. It turns random effort into intentional progress. And over time, that progress compounds in ways you never imagined. The difference between average and exceptional isn't talent, luck, or intelligence. It's discipline. Exceptional people do what needs to be done, even when they don't feel like it. They understand that success is rented, not owned, and the rent is due every single day. Discipline is how you pay that rent. Miss too many payments and success moves out. Discipline also builds trust with yourself. Every time you do what you said you would do, you strengthen your self-belief. Every time you break a promise to yourself, that belief weakens. Discipline repairs that relationship. It teaches you that you can rely on yourself even when things get hard. That kind of confidence can't be faked, and it can't be taken from you. Motivation might get you started, but discipline is what keeps you going. Motivation might make you dream, but discipline makes those dreams real. Day by day, action by action, discipline quietly builds the life you say you want. And long after our motivation has faded, discipline will still be standing there ready to work, ready to grow, ready to show up. Your habits are voting every single day for the life you're going to live, whether you realize it or not. Every action you take is a vote. Every decision you make is a ballot cast toward your future. You are not becoming what you talk about, what you wish for, or what you plan someday. You are becoming what you repeatedly do. That's the truth most people don't want to face because it means you can't blame luck, circumstances, or other people forever. Your habits are telling the real story. People like to believe big changes come from big moments, but lives are actually shaped by small choices made consistently. The way you start your morning, how you spend your free time, what you do when nobody is watching, how you respond when things don't go your way. These are the habits that quietly decide where you'll end up. One good habit won't change your life overnight, and one bad habit won't destroy it instantly. But over time, those votes add up. Eventually, the results show, and they show loudly. If you're not happy with where you are, don't just look at your goals. Look at your habits. Goals point you in a direction, but habits are what actually move you. You can have the biggest dreams in the world, but if your daily behavior doesn't match them, those dreams stay exactly where they are, in your head. Habits are the bridge between intention and reality. Without them, effort becomes random and progress becomes accidental. Most people overestimate what they can do in a short time and underestimate what they can do with consistent habits. They want quick results, fast success, instant transformation. When it doesn't happen fast enough, they quit. But habits work quietly. They don't announce themselves. They don't demand attention. They just keep showing up day after day, stacking results until one day you look up and realize your life has changed. Bad habits work the same way. Skipping one workout doesn't seem like a big deal. Procrastinating one day doesn't feel dangerous. Wasting a little time here and there feels harmless. But those votes add up too. Slowly, discipline weakens. Focus fades. Opportunities pass. It did but wonder how they ended up stuck. It didn't happen all at once. It happened one habit at a time. The powerful thing about habits that they don't require constant motivation. Once they're built, they run almost automatically. That's why discipline early on is so important. At first, habits feel hard. They require effort and intention. But over time, they become part of who you are. You stop forcing yourself to do them, and you start feeling strange when you don't. That's when habits stop being something you do and start becoming something you are. Your identity is shaped by your habits. Every time you act, you are casting a vote for the type of person you believe yourself to be. When you show up consistently, you vote for being reliable. When you keep learning, you vote for being a student. When you push through discomfort, you vote for being resilient. And when you repeatedly avoid responsibility, you vote for staying the same. You don't need to change everything at once. You just need to start voting differently. People get overwhelmed because they think they need a complete life overhaul. That's not how real change works. Real change starts small. One better decision today. One habit that supports the future you want. One action that aligns with your goals. When you focus on winning the day instead of the whole year, habits become manageable. And when habits become manageable, consistency becomes possible. Your environment plays a huge role in your habits. If your surroundings make bad habits easy and good habits hard, you're fighting an uphill battle. Discipline isn't just about willpower, it's about design. What you see, who you're around, and what you allow access to will influence your behavior. Change the environment, and habits begin to change naturally. Make it easier to do the right thing and harder to do the wrong thing. Habits don't care about your excuses. They respond only to repetition. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to feel confident. You just need to start. The first few votes might feel small and insignificant, but they matter. Every good habit you practice is proof that change is possible. Every positive action is evidence that you are moving forward, even if it doesn't feel dramatic. Over time, habits compound. The effort you put in today doesn't just give today's results, it multiplies into tomorrow. That's why discipline with habits is so powerful. You're not just working for the present moment. You're investing in a future version of yourself that will be grateful you stayed consistent. And whether you realize it or not, you're already voting. The only question is, what kind of life are your habits voting for right now? Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about discipline, because a lot of people get this wrong. Discipline is not about punishment. Discipline is not about making yourself miserable. Discipline is about making yourself consistent, dependable, and relentless in the pursuit of what you say you want. You see, too many people go into a new year thinking success is going to magically fall in their lap. That somehow the calendar changes and boom, they're going to have the life they've always dreamed of. But that's not how life works. Life doesn't care what month it is. Life doesn't care how many resolutions you write on fancy paper. Life responds to action. Life responds to consistency. Life responds to discipline. And this year, ladies and gentlemen, success is no longer optional. You've got to make discipline your best friend. You've got to make it your partner. You've got to make it your foundation, because without it, nothing else you try to build is going to stand. I want you to think about all the times you've started something with energy, with fire in your eyes, but a few weeks in, that fire faded. Why? Because you didn't have discipline, you relied on motivation, and motivation is a fair weather friend. Motivation shows up when it feels good. Discipline shows up whether you feel good or not. Discipline is what separates the people who talk about their dreams from the people who live them every single day. Let me break it down for you. Discipline by saying no to things that slow you down, even when you want them. Discipline is about putting in the work when nobody is watching. Discipline is about honoring the promises you make to yourself, not the ones you make to the world. You want to know the truth. You don't need permission to succeed. You don't need someone to pat you on the back or hand you a medal. All you need is discipline. And that discipline starts with small decisions every single day. Maybe it's getting up a little earlier than usual to work on your skills. Maybe it's sticking to your budget, even when that new gadget or fancy dinner calls your name. Maybe it's pushing through the work you don't feel like doing. Every single choice like that is a brick in the house of your future success. You want a big life. You got to make big choices consistently. Don't be fooled by thinking that success is something you stumble upon. Success is something you build, brick by brick, day by day. And each brick is your discipline. And here's another thing I want you to understand: discipline is not just about working hard. It's about working smart. It's about focus. It's about eliminating the distractions, the time wasters, the negativity that keep you from being the best version of yourself. You cannot have success as an optional part of your life. You cannot negotiate with mediocrity. You cannot compromise with laziness. It doesn't work like that. You've got to make commitment to yourself, a real commitment that this year, from this moment forward, you are going to live differently. You are going to show up differently. You are going to do things you haven't done before because you know that the person you were last year, last month, last week, that person is not going to cut it anymore. You cannot rely on old habits, old excuses, old comfort zones. Those things will kill your potential faster than anything else. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, people will test you. Life will throw distractions, setbacks, temptations, and excuses in your way. And if you don't have discipline, you will fail. But if you do have discipline, you will rise above. You will push through. You will grow. You will thrive. And here's the beauty of discipline. Once you develop it, it doesn't just help you succeed in one area of your life. It spreads. It touches everything: your health, your finances, your relationships, your career, your personal growth. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. And the stronger it gets, the easier it is to make the right choices, even when you don't want to. You see, discipline isn't glamorous. It doesn't make headlines. Nobody is going to write songs about your discipline, but your life will sing because of it. Your future self will thank you. The people around you will notice. The opportunities that once seemed impossible will suddenly become possible because you're showing up every day, doing the work, making the choices, sticking to your plan. And here's the real kicker: there's no shortcut. There's no secret formula. There's only discipline, dedication, and a refusal to accept anything less than your absolute best. You can wait for motivation. You can wait for luck. You can wait for someone to hand you the keys. But that time will pass you by. This is your moment. And the only way to make it count is to commit fully to discipline, to make success non-negotiable, to refuse to settle for anything less than what you are capable of achieving. Because when you do that, when you embrace discipline fully, you stop living in maybe and start living indefinitely. You stop letting life happen to you and start making life happen for you. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing more powerful than that. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be real with you for a moment. Discipline alone will get you far, but there's another piece to this puzzle that most people completely ignore, and that is accountability. I'm talking about holding yourself responsible for your own life. I'm talking about not blaming your circumstances, not blaming the economy, not blaming your family, not blaming your boss, not blaming anybody. Accountability is a game changer. You want to know why most people fail? Because they refuse to look in the mirror and admit where they're falling short. They make excuses. They rationalize. They justify. And while they're busy blaming everything else, their lives pass them by. Success is no longer optional, and if you're serious about achieving it, accountability has to become your closest ally. Accountability means you have to tell the truth to yourself, even when it hurts. It means acknowledging your weaknesses, confronting your fears, and taking full responsibility for your actions. You can't just say, "I want success," and expect the universe to deliver it. You've got to say, "I am going to do whatever it takes to earn it, even when it's hard, even when I fail, even when nobody is cheering me on." That's accountability. That's power. And let me break it down, for accountability starts with your choices. Every day you make hundreds of decisions. Some are small, some are big, but all of them matter. Did you spend your morning scrolling through social media when you could have been working on your craft? That's a choice. Did you put off that difficult conversation because it was uncomfortable? That's a choice. Did you stick to your plan even when temptation screamed louder than reason? That's a choice. Every choice you make is a reflection of your discipline, but Without accountability, those choices don't add up to anything meaningful. You've got to track your progress, measure your results, and own your failures just as much as your successes. And here's the thing about accountability. It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. You see, comfort is the enemy of progress. Comfort will lure you into mediocrity faster than anything else. It will convince you to settle for less than your potential. But accountability keeps you honest. It forces you to confront reality, even when reality isn't pretty. It forces you to get up, even when you've been knocked down. It forces you to try again, even when failure seems like a better option than risking embarrassment. And let me tell you, accountability doesn't just mean holding yourself responsible in private. It means surrounding yourself with people who will speak truth into your life, people who will challenge you, people who will not let you slide when you start making excuses. These are the people who will push you to be better, to work harder, to stay consistent. Because here's the truth, no one achieves greatness alone. Even the most disciplined, talented people need a mirror. They need a reality check. They need someone to say, hey, you're not living up to your word. Accountability turns your intentions into action. It turns your ideas into results. It turns your excuses into lessons. And the most powerful thing about accountability is that once you embrace it fully, it becomes unstoppable. You start holding yourself to a higher standard. You stop letting the world dictate what's possible for you. You stop waiting for permission. You start acting. And action is what separates dreamers from doers. You can have all the motivation in the world, all the inspiration you can absorb, but if you're not holding yourself accountable, you're still going to be stuck in the same place next year. You'll still be wishing for change, still hoping for better, still blaming what's around you instead of changing what's inside you. Accountability makes success non-negotiable. It forces you to rise every day with a plan, to follow through on that plan, to assess where you went wrong, to adjust, and to try again with even more intensity. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the results are worth it, because when you hold yourself accountable, when you refuse to make excuses, when you commit to your own growth, doors that were once closed begin to open. Opportunities that were once invisible become visible. You begin to see your own potential, and the world begins to see it too. And that's the power of accountability. That's the power of taking responsibility for your own life. That's the difference between a year of maybe and a year of definitely. And as I stand here talking to you today, I want you to understand this. The new year is not going to magically give you success. Discipline alone will get you started, but accountability is what will keep you going when the fire in your heart flickers, when the odds are against you, when the world doubts you. You've got to own it. You've got to embrace it. You've got to live it every single day, because success is no longer optional, and the only way to achieve it is to take full responsibility for your life, your choices, your actions, and your results. And once you do that, there's no limit to what you can accomplish. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me, because this is important. All the discipline in the world, all the accountability, all the hard work, it won't matter if you don't embrace the power of consistency. Consistency is what separates the people who dream from the people who actually achieve. You can be motivated one day, fired up the next, inspired by a speech like this for an hour, but if that energy doesn't turn into consistent action, it's meaningless. You see, life doesn't reward occasional effort. Life doesn't reward bursts of enthusiasm. Life rewards those who show up every single day, even when they don't feel like it, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's uncomfortable. Consistency is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. You can have a million ideas, a million goals, a million plans, but without showing up consistently, nothing will come to life. And let me tell you something else, consistency is not about perfection. It's not about being flawless. It's about progress. It's about making small, intentional choices repeatedly over time. Every morning you wake up and choose to work on yourself. That's consistency. Every time you resist the urge to quit, that's consistency. Every time you stick to your plan, even when it's hard, that's consistency. That's how you build momentum. That's how you build results. And here's what most people don't realize: consistency compounds. Every little effort, every small step, every action you take stacks on top of the last one. You might not see the results immediately. You might not feel the change in a week, a month, or even a year. But if you keep showing up, if you keep doing the work, eventually the results explode. That's how empires are built. That's how dreams are realized. That's how ordinary people become extraordinary. And the problem is, too many people quit too soon. They start strong in January, they're motivated for a few weeks, and then February hits, or March, or life throws a curveball and they stop. They forget that consistency isn't a one-time decision. It's a lifestyle. It's a habit. It's a commitment to showing up no matter what. And the truth is, life will test your consistency every single day. It will challenge you with distractions, temptations, setbacks, and obstacles. It will try to convince you that giving up is easier than keeping going. And this is where discipline and accountability come into play, because consistency without the structure of discipline and the honesty of accountability is just another fleeting attempt at success. You need all three working together to make a real impact. But when you embrace consistency fully, you start to see the magic happen. You start to notice doors opening that you never knew were there. You start to attract opportunities because people recognize that you don't quit, that you're dependable, that you follow through. You start to build trust with yourself and with others, because consistency proves character. It proves commitment. It proves that you are serious about your life and your future. And I want you to understand this consistency is what makes success inevitable. You can't predict exactly how fast results will come or what shape they'll take. But if you commit to consistent effort, success is unavoidable. It's only a matter of time. And here's another thing I've learned over the years: consistency gives you confidence. The more you show up, the more you practice, the more you put in the work, the more you realize that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. Consistency creates a foundation for greatness. It trains your mind, your body, and your spirit to handle the challenges that life will throw at you. And once that foundation is strong, nothing can shake it. No failure can stop you. No criticism can derail you. No setback can keep you down. You become unstoppable because you have built a life of deliberate, repeated actions that compound into extraordinary results. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of consistency. That's why in this new year, success is no longer optional. You have to show up every single day, not just when you feel like it, not just when it's convenient, but always. You have to commit to the process, trust the journey, and understand that greatness is not about luck. It's about doing the right things consistently over time. That's how you transform your life. That's how you create the future you want. That's how you stop being average and start being exceptional. And when you embrace consistency like this, when you make it non-negotiable, nothing in your life will ever be the same again.